Okay, good evening, Vanakkam to everyone, and good morning to people in UK and also Johannesburg, and a very late evening for Australia. All right, so thanks a lot for joining the session today. It's Picnic with Panic Series 5, which is charting your career path. All right, so before I move on, I would like to just wish you Happy Mother's Day to all mothers around who joined us today. So thank you very much for your support. And as the support actually went on for the last four series, I thought, okay, let's do something different on the career, right? Which is actually useful not only for the youngsters, also for those who are on the management level, also in the career who's going up to the leadership board. All right. So when you say about career, Job Street has actually done an research saying that 40% of a person's life, okay, 40%, it means a World Health Organization has said a person can live up to 80 years old average. Out of that, 40% goes for a person's career. It means he just finished up his two-thirds of the career in his two-thirds of his life in career. All right, so apart from his retired life or education or childhood, two-thirds goes to his career. All right, so it means career becomes a crucial thing in our life. Especially in Nagarta also nowadays, when you're looking for Mapla or Punna, you'll always ask, what is a Mapla is doing? All right, is he working? Okay, what is his job? So you always ask his background and stuff. So it's become very crucial. Career become a crucial point for a person. Okay, or determine his value. Okay, his type of background or how is his character is like also. All right. So all this while, the thing is that we always look at something which our parents say we just follow. Okay, but the thing is that once we go into career world, our parents can't get involved anymore. Okay, so that's where we need to see what are the other factors that influences certain person's character itself. Okay, or the career itself. So to speak about the session today, it won't be just me. I'll be just moderating the session. My name is Meyya. Okay, my native is Rachale. My temple is Matur, Manu. And apart from that, I'll be actually joined with three speakers who will be actually sharing their knowledge, their experience, what they have gone through, and they'll be actually giving their inputs. Okay, and I've got three speakers from three different industries. Okay, our first speaker for today is Dr. Preethi. She's actually a lecturer from Asia Pacific University of Innovation, Technology and Innovation. She's the academic leader there. And the next speaker is Manikandan. He's actually the solutions manager from Pharmacheutical. He's from the pharmaceutical industry. Okay, one of the government-linked companies. And our third speaker is Kumaran Raman. He is the general manager for PSI in control. All right, so he's more on a property and engineering department. All right, so he's more on focusing on engineering side. So we have someone from pharmaceutical, we have someone from education, we have also someone from engineering side. Okay, and myself, actually an accountant, right, in Roche, a pharmaceutical company too. Right, so here we go with the session today. So I hope you will gain something out of today. All right. So should you have any questions or clarification, you can ask during the Q&A segment. Apart from that, you can also put your question under the chat box. All right. So while the speakers are speaking, just an advice for the audience: just mute your phone so that we don't hear your background. All right. So let's commence the session today. So the first question actually goes to Dr. Preethi. All right, we go to ladies first, right? So Dr. Preethi, as a lecturer, how can the university actually can support the students in choosing a career or their career path?
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining the discussion today. So, I'm going to talk about how universities can chart the career path for the students. So, first of all, if we are school leavers, we want to choose a good university, and all universities do offer you an academic degree. But charting a career path is more than achieving just a career academic degree alone. It also includes a lot of things like soft skills. You want to learn how to work with people. You want to learn how to work in an environment such as the industry. You want to learn new technologies. All this is in addition to your degree. So when we say a degree, it could either be a finance degree or a medical related degree, but you are learning a lot more than just that fundamental knowledge of that discipline. So this is the first step that the university gives in charting a career path. And today's universities have moved a lot far from the universities of several years ago, where the knowledge is a lot more practical and less emphasis has been placed on theoretical concepts. So the curriculum design itself moves into including group work, social skills. You have a mandatory internship component, projects with members, even there are partnership with other universities and etc. etc. So for students who are choosing a degree, choose a degree in the university which will offer you a lot of other exposure. Just don't concentrate only on that academic degree that you want to get. This is the first takeaway for everyone. And as such, even when you are learning, don't expect the university to chart your career path. It's actually the student themselves who has to chart their own career path. So during the course of, let's say, 3 years or 4 years of your degree time, concentrate on learning a lot of other things, probably foundation courses, micro credentials, certifications. All these should happen, the learning should happen during the course of 3 or 4 years' time. So the universities can guide towards all of this in charting a career path.
All right. Thank you, Doctor. So, for students, it's a good takeaway that don't just choose a university which gives you just the academic degree.
Yes,
Also, choose something where they can give you a good background and also industrial relations and also industrial
yes,
exposure. All right.
yeah.
So, that's good. So, Manikandan, this is a question. Since you're in corporate, how, what type of career support does a corporate or a company can actually give for their staff?
Okay, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate Meyya for organizing such a wonderful series for our community. And secondly, thank you for giving us this opportunity to share our experience with our fellow Nagaratas. And good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen. I was in this pharma industry for the last 21 years. When I started this career, I joined as a simple production executive. Along the way, I have come up to the manager level role in the pharmaceutical industry. So it's not so easy to reach such a level of a manager in pharma industry. Quite challenging. But in terms of the company, this is a two-way approach. One thing, the company always support the employees to upgrade our knowledge and skills according to the current standards. And second thing, as a employee, we should also take our personal interest to enhance our knowledge with regards to leadership role, technical roles, some kind of trainings. If you because when I joined, I just had a degree in pharmacy. Then later, when I explore from production to research and development side, I have to do my post graduation in masters. Minimum should be masters or at least a PhD to be R&D person. So company never pushed me to do this, but it's my personal interest. I register myself through online. I completed my masters. Plus, I got attend a lot of trainings, and even I was a member of Toastmasters Club to enhance my communication skills. So these all the thing, because in pharma, technical is one thing. The other aspect is your leadership skills, how you communicate with your subordinates, how you manage your team, rather than technical. So I would say it's very good support from the corporate side. But don't forget, this your role also to be played in this. You have to be upgrade your to reach the subject matter expert every to keep yourself up to date.
All right.
So there is a tremendous support from the industry.
Mhm. Okay. Oh, thank you, Manikandan. So it's not only the company, all right. So company, of course, they can provide the training, they can provide some career growth, but apart from that is also the employee who must take the initiative. Joining a
Exactly.
Toastmasters club and
Yes.
take up trainings, all that.
Yes.
Okay, so it's always a two-way thing. You can't just
Good.
accept your company alone.
Yes.
Also, all
Yes.
right,
Yes. Yes.
great.
If
That's
really
good.
want
Okay.
to excel in your role.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the input. All right, to Kumaran, people likes their career, but the problem is some people or employee they tend to jump companies. They stick to same career. Maybe they be accountant or finance manager in same company, but or same industry, but they tend to jump different companies. Why such thing happens?
Thank you, Maya. Thanks for the opportunity. Okay. From my industry, I'm the engineering industry for the past close to 20 years now. So, what I've seen so far, uh, people don't really leave the company, they leave the bosses or the supervisors. Yeah. That is the biggest problem because most of we should not even say bosses, that's why we call them as leaders. So, when there is no proper leaders, what happens is the subordinates first easy way out for them is to jump to a different company, so they don't put in skills or they put in effort to adapt to the situation. But the problem is when they move away from a company because of their boss or of the environment, when they move to a different company, let's say from company A to company B, high chance they'll be doing the same thing in company B because things will not be as what you want always. Yeah. So you cannot decide who is going to be your boss, who is going to be a leader, or who is going to be a mentor, and how the environment is going to be. So as individuals, uh, in order to chart a proper career path, first we must have this adaptive skills. So we have to adapt to situations because things are very volatile nowadays. It changes every other year, every other month. Like technology field, it's like it is even changing like daily. You will see technologies are popping up like mushrooms. Yeah. So you have to adapt yourself to the situation, to the company, and if you make this as a habit to keep jumping companies, yeah, that is the problem that they will face normally. Even if they are maintaining the same role or same profession, if they keep skipping companies, high chance they will not learn anything. Because in order for you to pick up something, you need to at least retain in the company for at least 3 to 5 years minimum, because if you see in HR, they have a very famous marking now. Last time they will put KIV, nowadays they are putting as frog also. Frog stands for people jumping companies. Yeah. So
Okay.
this is the main issue. Adaptive one, and second thing is also the leaders or the bosses. They also have to put in some effort to keep the subordinate. First of all, you have to be friendly to your people. You have to spend time outside office. Yeah, you can do some extra activities like go in a recreation, play some sports. Okay, now sports is not possible in this situation. Maybe you can play some online games with your team. So to keep
True.
yourself engaged with them. Most of the
Okay.
time, especially the youngsters nowadays, they need engagement. You need to be
Mhm.
with them. You cannot be like just sitting on top there and giving instruction and expecting them to stick with you forever. This is the practical point of view that we are seeing from technology-based company at least. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Kumaran. Yeah. So that actually reminds me what Tony Fernandez said, the founder of AirAsia. So long you take care of the employee will take care of the customers, and the profit will grow. And of course, the key word there is employee don't leave the company; they leave the bosses. So yeah, like what Kumaran said, since with the movement control order and the lockdown, you can't be playing games outside, but you can always play online games, like Warcraft or FIFA or this player manager kind of thing. So that's good. All right, and of course, adaptive. The employee also need to be adaptive to the situations and the stuff. Okay, going to Dr. Preethi again. Actually, what are the upcoming careers globally? What are the new careers like upcoming? You can share with us.
Okay, when we're talking about new careers, at least in the field of IT or IT related industries, this is the era of Industry 4.0. So we've already had this mechanization, then technology came in, mass production, all of this has come in. When computers came in like 20, 30 years ago, there was a lot of news like, okay, computers are coming in, our jobs are going to go. But now here, after 20 years, now we realize computers did not take away so many jobs. It actually gave in a lot of new jobs in these last 20 years. So right now, we are in one more change in the industry 4.0. And this industry 4.0 is bringing in something of a similar situation. A lot of new things are going to come in, especially with advances in technology such as data analytics. We have Internet of Things, and there's going to be a lot of automation involved in the upcoming few years. So when we're talking about technology, just let's say any random job which is repetitive, we don't need a person to do that. The idea is if the job is repetitive, we can program it and a machine can do it. That you can call that a machine or a robot or whatever, but the idea is it can be done automatically by a program. So any jobs which are repetitive, these are going to be like moving away. And what are the new upcoming careers? Anything which is very creative, very inclusive of technology. Like you could have heard the keyword data scientist, cyber security, Internet of Things. All of these are going to come up in the upcoming few years. And even marketing, finance, or all the other traditional sectors, they are going to have a lot of changes. So marketing, let's say, it's going to have digital marketing. You can have web-based marketing, web-based content advertising. All the sectors are going to change in relation with technology. So especially in today's technology-based environment, we are all locked down, but we are all working. Even schools are conducting classes online for the kids. Kindergarten children are having schools classes using Zoom and Google Classrooms. So every single sector still going to maintain their job, but with the help of technology. For this technology infrastructure to set up, there are lots of new jobs which are going to come in. Analytics jobs, virtual machine, cloud computing, all these jobs are going to be very new. And these are going to come in the next, let's say, 5 or 10 years. And we can't say this is going to be true for the next 20 or 30 years because technology continues to change. You can say this is true only for the next 5 years or so.
Okay. Oh, that's good. So, yeah, Industrial Revolution 4.0 definitely going to change a lot of things. And as what Dr. Preethi said, anything repetitive, which you can actually eliminate human and get the technology to replace, definitely that's going to be the upcoming thing. That actually reminds me, one of my friend who's actually studied computer science. Now he's actually a social media manager. Okay, social media manager is a new term I'm listening. 10 years ago, there were no such position. But now his job is actually to manage Facebook comments and also put up new Facebook ads and stuff. So he's basically looking at Facebook and Instagram on daily basis. And that's his job, social media manager. So it's something which we never heard of 20 years ago or 30 years ago, which is something new today. So this is what you call industrial revolution 4.0, where you have something new on technology base, all right, which still makes us to move on, but it still eliminates repetitive stuffs. All right, so well said on that. So now we move on to Manikandan. When people are choosing a career, right, what are the influence or what are the type of influence that make them to actually choose their career? Kind of like what are the factors that influences them to choose a career?
Okay. So there are various factors influence to choose the career. It depends. Time to time, it will change because from the school, during schooling, we watch movies and we see our society, how from the family, somebody from doctor, engineer. So there are different stages. So meaning the factors can be changes. Over the time it changes. Once you complete your degree, you may have influenced by big companies. There are many factors, but to me, friends and society is the most factor which we choose our career path. Mainly our friends, because if you take example of me, I don't have a plan to study pharmacy. I'm actually, my character is not suitable for to perform pharmacy degree. But one of my close friend, my childhood friend, registered enroll himself for pharmacy schooling. Then he approached me, why not both together we can go and complete the course. So I was influenced by my friend, not even by my parents. But somehow it turns out good for me. But so it's important, what you like to do, that is more important. Whether you like it or not, you should make a proper decision when you enroll yourself for any kind of career. Then just mold yourself to suit according to your career.
All right. Thank you, Manikandan. So, Kumaran, do you have any other opinions or ideas on the same question, factors influencing a career?
Okay, I think Manikandan has said most of the things, but what I see is also mainly the interest. Yeah.
Okay.
So try not to get into any job or career without interest, because you will not sustain long, and you're not going to do good for you and the people around you and the company also. So always try to choose what you like, even though you have a paper qualification in certain domain, and if you have no interest in that domain upon graduation, you can still switch to a domain that you have interest. That'll be the best you can do for the community and for yourself. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well said, Kumaran. Okay. So yeah, I can summarize that friends, parents, and self-interest. And nevertheless, self-interest comes first. It actually reminds me of our famous director Gautam Vasudev Menon. He's a mechanical engineer, but now his interest is on film direction, so he's into that. And even our famous singer Hariharan, he's a chemical engineer, but he's into singing. So yeah, sometimes the self-interest and passion sometimes makes difference. So, Dr. Preethi, your next question is, when I grow up, people always, or my parents always say, you must be either doctor, lawyer, engineer, accountant. So they always call it DEAL, DEAL. It's doctor, engineer, accountant, lawyer. So you must only choose one of these four. So these are so-called the traditional careers. So my question is, will this traditional career is still applicable till today or in future?
Okay. I think this DEAL, okay, doctor, engineer, accountant, lawyer, right? These are still going to exist. So are the other careers as well. All the careers are going to still exist. They won't disappear. Like it's not going to be like from 2030 we don't have any more doctors. We are not going to face such a situation at all. But all jobs will be redefined. They will have some changes. So, probably an accountant 50 years ago would have done things differently from what you're doing today. The accountant of 2020 does things differently from the accountant 50 years ago. Similarly, all these jobs will exist, but they will continue to change. So generally, some jobs, as I said earlier, if they are repetitive, if a machine can do it because it's standard, you're doing the same thing again and again and again, then probably a robot can replace. But generally, if you want, before advising the children, let's say you should become one of this doctor, engineer, accountant, or lawyer, we can ask ourselves three questions. Is this job creative? Let's say, what are the creative jobs? Probably we all think creativity means just drawing or painting, but there are other jobs which are creative as well. For example, maybe a scientist, a business strategy, a decision maker. These jobs are creative because you cannot program a machine to make decisions in the organization. Let's say senior management, you can't program a machine to do that. And or let's say my job is not creative. Another thing that you can think about is the job a relationship based job? So if it is a relationship based job, then these jobs are going to exist because robots cannot be programmed to have a relationship. So what are the relationship based jobs? Like you said, doctors, lawyer, or even a teacher, these are relationship based jobs where they have to actually make a relationship with the patient or student or whoever. So these jobs which are relationship based, they are still going to exist because robots cannot do this well. Another thing you can think about is jobs which are unpredictable. So if you cannot actually predict what's the next task for the robot, you cannot program that. So jobs which are coming into one of these categories, they are definitely going to exist, but they might be changed with the infusion of technology inside. But some jobs are very repetitive, like probably a cashier. You pay him some amount, he will just return the balance. But now with all these mobile wallets, we actually don't need a cashier, right? So, telemarketing, cashier, some ticketing clerks. People are buying tickets online. So, why do we need a ticketing clerk, or why do we need so many ticketing clerks? It's not going to be 0% reduction in job. The number of clerks we need to sell tickets on the counter is going to change, it's going to reduce. Same for cashiers. Today, we have even in Kota Damansara, we have supermarket where there's no cashier. You can just go and check out things by yourself. So these jobs might reduce. Yeah, factory operations definitely could reduce, because if you're introducing robots for repetitive jobs, maybe there's increase in profitability and other issues. So yeah, these things, yes. But traditional careers, the deal, I think will still exist.
Mhm. All right. Yeah, thank you. So definitely, jobs which is in people skills, or
Yeah.
interpersonal relationship. Definitely, it's a crucial. And yeah, like doctors, lawyers, you definitely need people relationship. So that's one of the thing. That actually reminds me of a job which is for accountant, where the accounts clerk was merely doing a bookkeeping. Now with what do you say, the automation, e-wallet, the amounts are actually, or the figures are automatically recorded, so you don't need the accounts clerk. But now
Yeah.
what the accounts clerk or the senior accountant need to do is, they need to ensure whether all these figures are put in correctly as per the policy, as per the law, local law, or the accounting procedures. All right, so they just need to upgrade themselves, rather than merely being a bookkeeper or a typewriter.
Yeah.
They just need to upgrade themselves to be a decision maker. All right, so that's great. So going to Manikandan, can passion become a career? What do you think?
Why not? Because if you use your passion into your career, definitely you're going to be the superstar in what you are doing. But it's not feasible for everyone. Okay, if you see the current situation, actually my passion is not into pharma. I supposed to go for something in athletic. I thought of going into the cinema industry, but finally I enter into the pharma industry. But doesn't mean you can't bring your passion into your current role. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is whatever my interest, but it may not directly apply to my role, but you can still try to match with your profile, and you can enhance your passion into your current role. Second thing, not necessarily you have to merge with your job or something. You can also bring your passion into your additional, how to say, you can do it in twin program. So one is you just focus on your career base. This one. The other thing, you can, if you want to be a photographer, for instance, you are working in a real estate company, you can do your photography by taking pictures of your the buildings, and all those things can be, it's part of your passion, but you're working in a different industry. Same thing, I would like to give an example. I think you all know that Dr. Sethu Raman recently passed away. Is our community member. Dr. Seenivasan is a skin specialist in Chennai. He runs a clinic called ZI Clinic. Actually, he's a medicinal doctor. He's a dermatologist. He's a famous skin doctor. But his passion is into acting. So doesn't mean he stopped the his career, but he runs the clinic, and over the time he also focus on movies. So it's possible you can bring your passion into your career, or you can do it as a twin program. That's my opinion.
Okay, great. That actually reminds me of one of the Dhanush movie. The parents will say, "நீ பிச்சைக்காரனா தான் இருப்ப." Then he will say, "நான் பிச்சைக்காரனா இருக்கேன், ஆனா பிச்சைக்கார photographer இருக்கேன்."
Exactly.
So because that's his passion on photography. All right, so that's good. So going to Kumaran, just now we discussed the interest, whether people or parents are either influencing them, or sometimes the friends are influencing them. Do you think monetary value influences someone to choose a particular character?
Okay. It depends on which stage of life this person is in. Okay. I think if he's okay in the very beginning stage, that means when you're starting your career, maybe you can put that monetary at side first because you still have support from your parents, or somehow your expenses will be less. So you can concentrate towards your liking, your passion, your interest. Try to build your career in that part. But let's say you enter into a different stage of life where money is also important, and if your passion is not paying you enough, then I think it's time to decide whether to continue with the passion or to keep the passion as a secondary item, as what Manikandan mentioned earlier. Because end of the day, everyone needs money to sustain. I think if no money means, I think they say there's a saying, right? No money, no honey, right? As simple as that. So
Yeah.
monetary is the most important factor to sustain until end of your life. So we
Mhm.
cannot say no to that. But later stage, let's say if you have crossed all your responsibility, let's say you have settled down, you have enough of money for your kids, your family, then again you can go back to your passion and you can do as much as you want, because end of the day, passion is also very important. So that's my point of view on this. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Great. So yeah. So when you feel you're not making much money or much income, you can always make your passion a secondary, and focus on your career first. And when you feel you're almost stable or already at a stable stage, then you can always come back to your passion. All right. So thanks, Kumaran, for that. So going to Dr. Preeti, do you think a character play in a role in choosing a career?
Okay. An individual's personality, this sometimes can be making them more adaptable to certain types of jobs, because there are personality tests. It can tell us what personality we are, but this is very subjective. It depends on what you're answering those questions in that test. But generally, whenever we are choosing a career, think of a simple thing. Are you happy doing this job? So normally, we've got all these WhatsApp messages on Monday morning. Monday blues, I don't like to go to work. If you don't like to go to work, actually this is not the job that's meant for you. You should like to go to work, right? That's a key point. You should like to go to work this Monday, let's say, after the MCO. You should like to go to this work for 1 month, 1 year, and let's say for at least a short time period. Do you like to go to work? Are you happy going to work? You shouldn't drag your feet to work just because you want a salary, because you want some money, just because somebody is forcing you to go to work. Okay. If you're ticking any of those boxes that you're forced to go to work, then I think, we were talking about passion and, your happiness, your interest, all this is not there. You have to find a way either to switch to your interest or to find out the gap that you're lacking. So probably why you don't like to go to work, you have to analyze that gap. Maybe because the person does not have the skill, or maybe this is something which is against his personality. So this is where the personality comes into play. So even though there are, so many types of personalities, we generally divide into, let's say, a person is an introvert or extrovert. So, extroverts are people who like to socialize, interact with others, and be in groups. And introverts like to be alone. But then, are we actually talking about just choosing a career based on whether we are introvert and extrovert? The whole world cannot be divided into just two groups, right? So, then we should have only two sets of jobs. But we have so many. And generally, what career is good for extrovert? Maybe where they are able to communicate. And when we say extrovert, we generally tend to think, okay, ivan எதை வேணாலும் வித்துருவான், sales and marketing. But it's not like that. Sales and marketing needs a lot of domain knowledge. Sales and marketing needs a lot of product knowledge. Without the knowledge about the product, they cannot actually sell. They probably can sell one or two products just by their skill in talking, but they cannot sustain. you know that is very important. And when we talk about introverts, we tend to think about maybe IT people. They can sit and, geeks, they can sit and code for 24 hours. But this is a wrong perspective, I will say, because even if you talk about IT or marketing, it's a whole big domain we're talking about. Let's say IT, there's so many careers along the line. Some of them, let's say, requirements design. Maybe an extrovert can do, maybe a hardcore programmer, an introvert can do. But there's a lot more in the line that's coming in, especially with these new jobs popping in. So I wouldn't advise to go by just say, okay, your personality, then based on the personality, you choose a career. This will only limit ourselves. Probably I'm an introvert. I can only do such and such a career. There shouldn't be a limitation. Passion should be the one ruling. Remember the keyword, let's say you are happy doing this job, then never mind your career. You can just go ahead and do this job. So your personality shouldn't be something which will stop you from pursuing your dream, your passion.
All right. Okay. Thank you, doctor. So yeah, sometimes I do feel that sometimes I tend to drag myself to office. So if you are doing that, there's already a sign that you are not suited to the job or you need to look for something. So
No, that is
Manikandan,
sometimes. I think your
yeah.
keyword there is sometimes. If you feel
Mhm,
that every time, then
mhm.
that's different. Sometimes
Okay.
all of us have a bad day, right? So,
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, you are an extrovert and then you're doing a career of an accountant. According to
Mhm,
personality, that's an introvert's career. I mean, that
mhm.
doesn't match actually.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks for the input. So Manikandan, do you have anything to add to that?
Mostly, I agree with Dr. Preethi.
Mhm,
In my view, actually, how to say, in this, everyone cannot find a job which suits their character, because hardly 10 to 20% they can find a job which can suit their character. But the remaining 80% of us, including me, we can't manage to get a job where my character can fit in. But somehow we manage ourselves, mold ourselves to um, transform to that particular character, then
mhm.
we are okay with that.
Okay.
I just want to give another example. It's same thing we can apply to our wedding. Okay, that type of character plays a role in choosing your spouse. Okay, so if we use this code, it's very difficult to find a girl, a boy, because in Chettiar community, to be frank with you, mostly the decision makers are aya apata. Huh? So they never give a chance to you to choose your wife or the husband. Okay, so they will do the selection, but mostly all arranged marriage. So my wife don't know about my character. I don't know about my wife's character. But after marriage, maybe we may have some frictions in the first 6 months. Then later on, so both of us have to adapt and accommodate to each other characters, right? So doesn't mean character will stop you to fix your position. You can change your character according to the situation. That's my view.
All right. Great. Thanks for the input. So
இப்போ இவன் தான் இவன்
definitely.
தான் சந்தில் இருக்கான்.
So the thing is that it's always, you cannot just say just because he's serious, he can be accountant or he can be talking well, he can be a sales guy, because there were once I actually went back to my previous firm. So I was making jokes, I was being jovial. So then people said, you should be from sales. I said, no. Then they say, you're from marketing. I said, no, I'm an accountant. So they were wondering, wow, because they felt that accountants mean must be straightforward, must be detailed. So but there's no such rules, right? Accountants also can make jokes, all right, or accountants can be also a
இதுல
good
என்ன
public
வரும்?
speaker, all right, or a presenter. So yeah, it's always, try to do your personality test, try to see what job suits you. Apart from
பிரிச்சு
that,
அப்படியே இதை
uh,
போட்டு போப்போம்.
your whether introvert or
பிரிச்சு
extrovert,
பேசுறது.
and you can always switch your character based on the situations, all right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Kumaran,
அடோ
this interesting
இங்க
question
வாங்க,
for
கொஞ்சம்
you.
வாங்க.
The thing is that
இந்த
I had some friends. They were accountants, but what happened after 2 years? They went into photography. They went into beauty pageant. Okay, they just switched career entirely different. Okay, so why people are into this, or what causes them to do this? Switching careers into something which is not relevant to what they studied.
Okay. First could be their passion, as we discussed earlier.
Mhm.
And another common reason nowadays we see is a lot of them want to become an entrepreneur. They want to start something themselves. let's say I take engineering industry as it is, yeah. So if you want to start an engineering company, it's not easy. You need to have idea,
Yep.
you have to be
Capital.
creative, you have to have investment,
Yep.
you must have contacts, and the company that you set up must have every single credential. That means all sort of certification. So it's not easy to set up a technology based company. Okay, so but the entrepreneurship thinking is always there. They always want to do something themselves, or they want to step out and start something. So easy way out, they try to venture into something which is simple. I'm not saying starting a cafe and running a cafe is easy, but I think it's much easier to start a cafe than starting a factory. So this is the main reason that nowadays we can see that a lot of youngsters, especially, they are jumping out from the companies and setting up this kind of business. And also they don't want to be in this strict office environment. Like okay, now work from home is applicable everywhere, but it was not the norm before the MCO. Yeah, it's only applicable for the IT industry. So most of them have to be in the campus, whether they have work or no work. They have to be there from 8 to 5 or 8 to 6. So these are the main reasons they switch into this different industry like cafe, even insurance agents. You can see, these mutual fund agents. So these are the reasons that we could see, and this is the reason we get when we have exit interviews also with our staffs. So this is one of the reasons they write.
Okay. Great. Thanks for the input. So it's definitely, people's passion is one, and also the flexibility, working from home. There's no like strict 8 to 5 or 9 to 6 kind of a rules kind of thing. All right. So that actually wrapped up our discussion. Now let me open up for the question answer session. So I actually already have one question here. Maybe Dr. Preethi can handle this. What impact will AI, artificial intelligence, going to make in career decision?
Okay. First of all, AI cannot help us to choose the career. I mean, I'm just focusing on the word career decision. AI or a robot cannot come and tell us, okay, what career to choose, because this is not programmable. This is not repetitive. There are a lot of conditions and clauses that helps us to make our career decision. So, but if you're talking about AI influencing the career itself, yes, then there's going to be a huge impact because of AI influencing your career, whatever that career might be, because of the machines contacting each other. And let's say this is probably from an engineering background, where you're going to have machines interacting with each other, and you don't have somebody called a data entry clerk. You were talking about clerks. We don't have people collecting data anymore. The machines can collect data themselves, and we don't need to have people who are trying to interact between machines can talk to themselves. These are all the concepts of IIoT, where we're talking about industrial IoT. The sensors are placed in the machines and they help to collect data, and this can be analyzed. All of this put together makes it a RPA, the robotics process automation. So all of this entire scenario would influence the career, the way in which the work is conducted. But as far as career decisions are concerned, I don't think AI will take over, because we are still going to be there. If we are making a decision, then we are making a decision. Robots cannot make decisions for us.
Mhm. All right. Thank you, Preeti. Yeah, that actually reminds me. I actually saw a meme a few days ago. There used to be a guy, be a pilot of helicopter and
Mm.
carrying. There was another so-called a cameraman. Okay, they were actually doing a video shooting. What happened now with the existence of drone? Both of
Mm.
them actually lost a job. Okay, because you don't need a helicopter and you don't need a cameraman, right? Because you already got a drone which is fixed to the camera. So you just need someone to control the remote control, right? So that's what shows that the AI can actually influence on this kind of careers. All right. So the next question I see here, what will be the high demand job in Malaysia? Okay, I think he's focusing in only in Malaysia. Maybe Manikandan, if you can share some of the jobs, what are the jobs can be in high demand in future?
Actually, I'm purely from the pharma industry, so I can't comment on the other sectors, but I can just touch up something on the pharmaceutical side. if you see, there are a lot of opportunities to the pharmacy graduates, because in Malaysia the pharma industry is tremendously growing, and a lot of pharmacy students, once they come out from the university, they not coming into the industries, they directly going to the clinical side. But there are plenty of opportunity in the industrial side or in the research sector, because we are still far away from India and big pharma countries like Europe. So if the upcoming pharmacies, if they can come into the industry side, there are many roles waiting for them. If you can come into the quality assurance department or quality control, research and development, forensic side, it can be from marketing, sales. There are plenty of opportunities available. So register pharmacies, and in terms of pay, also a very good pay for the pharmacy graduates. So pharmacy is one of the good sector to consider. The next thing is physiotherapists, because nowadays a lot of the ortho, once you complete your treatment, then the next stage is going for a physio thing. So physio also one of the paramedical side is one of the good area to enroll themselves. Apart from that, actually I can't comment much. So these are two things which can consider from my side.
Okay, so pharmaceutical and physiotherapists is still in need in future,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, great. So maybe Kumaran, from engineering point of view, what are the high demand jobs or areas that you can see?
Okay, let me answer this question like this. Before COVID-19, okay, there was a lot of investment towards Industrial Revolution 4. So many companies, GLCs, governments was coming up with tenders and grants for projects related to IR4, which is big data, also IoT, RPA. All this was happening because there's a lot of funding for that. But after COVID-19, seems to be all this fund would have been used for paying salaries, and because there was no movement in their business itself. So things might change. But also, due to this industrial revolution for growth, there was a lot of people who didn't concentrate in the classic jobs, even like within this technology field, like engineers. When you take electrical engineers, now it's very hard to find good electrical engineers. You'll only find electrical engineers with IT skills. You will not find hardcore electrical engineers anymore. So this kind of jobs is coming back into the picture. Good, I mean, even for mechanical engineers, can be chemical engineers, because IT influence was too much before this. Now, so people only concentrated in this mixed career. So now focus career is coming into picture again. And no doubt technology is always growing, but it might take a slight slowdown after this COVID-19. Yeah? And Industrial Revolution 4 might slow down also, because IR4 supposed to be end by another 5 or 10 years time maximum. That's the fastest moving IR. That's why all the universities are really focusing on this. But now looks like this revolution will take a bit more longer to complete. Yeah. So
Okay. All right, great. Actually, I also can share from the finance or accounting point of view that, of course, in Malaysia, they have already abolished goods service tax, GST, but it may come back. Nevertheless, currently we have service tax and sales tax. All right. Apart from that, we also have withholding tax, real property gain tax. Right. So you have different elements in tax line itself or tax. So career as a tax officer can be one which can be lucrative. Right. So regardless of any country that you go, definitely tax is in need. And apart from that, of course, I say the bookkeepers are gone, okay, with the AI coming in, but you still need accountant. Assume I give you a balance sheet and a profit loss account, you should be able to tell me how healthy is the company, all right, financially. So it means a good accountant would be able to say that. So rather than having just the bookkeeping skills, moving forward, we need someone with the technical skills who's able to say how good is the company and how financially worth it is the company is, let's say in future if you're going to invest in the company or so. All right, so this kind of a knowledge, technical skills are also very crucial. and also critical thinking skills in this situation. All right. So let's move on with the next question. Okay, this is for you, Dr. Preethi. What is your view on media industry and journalists? And okay, he also linked that why Nagartar are not taking up this type of career. Okay.
Okay. Um, we're talking about media industry. This includes a lot, isn't it? It includes publishing media, probably radios, television, cinema, all of that. In talking about publishing media, I think it's going to go into a lot of changes. More and more e-books and electronic materials are coming into play, even like newspapers. How many of us are buying newspapers every day? When we were studying school, probably I remember every day the newspaper man used to come in around 7 o'clock, and maybe we were waiting to just fetch the newspaper. But is it the situation today with us? Are we actually waiting for a newspaper? For me, I don't really subscribe to a hard copy of the newspaper, but I do read newspaper every day, online paper. Right. This is the same for many magazines, many other textbooks. Even if you talk about school or university textbooks, there are a lot of e-books. Gone are the days where we were used to taking a textbook and then we wanted to photocopy some pages. I don't think the children are doing those today. When talking about industry, media industry, all these traditional setups are going to have some changes. And why are young Nagrata not taking up this type of career? I mean, this is a societal point of view. Somehow we have started to consider that this is not a main focus career, or this is not a professional career that I want to be a journalist. I would say this is our societal mindset. We don't consider journalism to be um, a professional, or let's say a mainstream career. This can be a hobby. You can do some blogs, you can do some videos, but it's okay to pursue this as a passion or as a sideline something, but we are not encouraging this to be a mainstream career, for the main reason because of the sustainability of the career. How well can it be profitable, and how long can this career be profitable for you? So being realistic, I think our elders have advised to keep this as a secondary career or something on the lines of passion, but not a professional one. Yeah, I think this is my view. Maybe you can add on.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, doctor. So, as what Kumaran said, is always the money tree thing. Some
Yeah.
people will say journalist or a photographer for a media, he may not earn well, right? So unless he has a separate secondary income,
Mm.
and the next thing is always whether do you suit for that job, especially when you're a journalist or a photographer where you have to be there at the location.
Mm.
Example, like 2 months ago when there was a turmoil in Malaysian political situation, there were a lot of journalists waiting outside of the current prime minister's house, and
Mm.
some of them, they were waiting outside the palace, all right, just waiting for the updated news, and they were waiting there for 24 hours. Some were 48 hours. They just lie down there, slept there. So the thing is that not how the thing is that how many of them like that kind of situation or a career or work lifestyle, kind of thing, waiting outside someone's house or waiting outside a building. Okay, so that's one thing, and of course the monetary value also comes in.
Yeah, and
And
youngsters actually can call this challenges, but probably the parents will call this risk.
mhm,
Right? It's
right.
risky. Youngsters can say this is challenge to the job, but maybe the perspectives will change after a few years. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, especially with the upcoming blogger. Personally, I have a blog, and
Mm.
they have YouTubers, right? So definitely, there are a lot of things are going digital base.
Mm.
So the hard copy may no longer become relevant, or the mainstream media may not become relevant, right? So, all right. So let's move on to the next question. This is actually specific to Mr. Mani. You admitted that your passion was in acting, but you selected pharma. Hope you are doing fine in your job. Do you feel bad not being in film industry, or you are still working on being an actor? Okay, parallelly, how do you balance passion versus profession? So there's two here. How do you balance passion, profession, and are you okay being in pharmaceutical?
All right. Honestly speaking, in Nagaratar, going into the film industry is a big havoc. They don't. The first thing I want to go to cinema, they say, "Hey, cinema." cannot, because that is a mindset of our Nagaratar community. And yes, on and off, wherever I got a chance, if I go company farewell parties or company dinners, I go to any get together. So I try to explore myself in going to the stage and sing a song, do some dance. So this is I'm trying to put myself into, not really into the cinema industry, but my passion still can be applied in the similar thing, but it may not come on screen. Okay. And second thing, yeah, I never regret. I miss out to join the film industry. Never, but yeah, when before coming to Malaysia, yes, I was really keen to go into the industry. But once I come to pharma, then I see there is a very good growth in pharma sector. So I never really worried about my passion. Wherever there is opportunity, then I try to go a little bit on my passion side. Then I just focus on what I have achieved so far.
All right. Yeah, who knows? It can be, you can be like, the late Dr. Seenivasan,
Yes,
set up your practice first, then you come to acting, then you can go back to practice.
exactly.
So, yeah, great. So that's good. So going to the another question, maybe Kumaran can handle this, as there will be a lot of retrenchment after MCO, which is post COVID-19. Is it okay to switch to business entrepreneurship? Maybe how about networking marketing?
Okay, yes, a lot of retrenchments are being expected, and it's also already happening, I guess. Some domains already started it. So, switching into business entrepreneurship like networking, marketing, these are the trend now, yeah. So, like online business, yeah. So, this is something that we can also start adapting it, even though if we have a main career as a secondary career, because things are not certain. So it's always good to have a backup plan. And I do get feedbacks from people who are doing this online business that they are earning more than their main career nowadays. Yeah. So no harm trying. And this also doesn't require much investment or resources. It's quite easy to start. So if you have any opportunity to do that, please go ahead. Don't stop. Always try to keep one or two extra income if possible, because we don't know how things will be after this MCO.
All right, yeah. Just like what Warren Buffett said, don't put all your eggs into one basket. So, or always look for a secondary income or a soft income. All right. And yeah, passion comes when you have a secondary passion, always, you can always look at that. All right. So, is there any other questions? We have 3 more minutes. All right, maybe this one for Manikandan. Your opinion to start a new business in this scenario in pharmaceutical or medical device?
Actually, it's a great opportunity to start medical device company in Malaysia, because I've seen only pharma finished product manufacturing. Only there are 100 over companies in Malaysia, but in terms of medical devices, so far we just bring in the medical devices from outside Malaysia and we do trading in Malaysia. So it's a very good area to look into that for medical device. So far, only one or two companies they have been locally manufacturing medical devices. Yeah, it's good to start a medical device company in Malaysia. And also, to start a pharmaceutical company is not so easy because of the regulation is such a stringent regulation, and you need to invest a very high amount of money to start a company. So what I would advise is to start bringing products, register here, do trading first. Once your business is going well, then you slowly start with a small size company. Just focus on one line, which is either tablet or capsule or either liquid dosage form. Then yes, there are a lot of opportunity. The only thing you need to be very patient, because the regulation is quite challenging. So you have to balance the regulation is one side, then you have to manage the operation side. So I would say medical device is more appropriate to start immediately. But to start a pharma manufacturing company, I think you need to study a lot and you need to have a proper plan before you invest anything into the pharma, because we have seen a lot of issues from the regulatory point of view, and to run a pharma company is quite challenging at this moment. So medical device would be the best choice to immediately can look into.
Okay. All right. So we are just on time. Maybe just one last question before we wrap up. Okay. So is there any tips for the college students who are middle of figuring out their interests? So maybe doctor, it will be apt for you.
Yeah. I think if you are pursuing your degree right now, if you still don't know what your interests are, maybe try some micro credentials. Micro credentials are some certification programs, maybe like e-learning. You don't need to go to any training center or anything. Just find out e-credentials, micro credentials, or certification programs from an industry. Let's say if you're interested with doing a AutoCAD design, maybe an engineering drawing design, you can just find out a certification, learn it online, and try to attempt it. It has two advantages. One, you can actually test out yourself whether you really like this or not. Number two, if you really like this can add into your CV, add into your portfolio that you have actually tried out something. And it's not only the knowledge that you have, it can also show to your employers that you're a proactive person, you're trying to learn things out of your basic degree, just not only your degree, additional stuff. So try to apply for some short certification courses, things that you can learn online.
Okay. Thank you very much, doctor. All right.
Yeah.
So with that, we are come to the end of the segment today. First of all, thank you a lot to Dr. Preethi, Manikandan, and Kumaran for spending your time and knowledge and experience. It was definitely a fruitful session today, getting new inputs, new ideas. All right. I'm sure it was a worthwhile session for the rest of you. And thanks a lot for your support for the Picnic with Panic Series 5. Not to worry, we'll be coming up with additional series with the new topics and more on soft skills leadership programs in coming weeks. So I shall keep you informed. So with that, thanks a lot for your support. Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day and stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Meyya.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.